We always love it when we can bring fascinating people who can inspire us and motivate us here to America Trends, and we are so glad you're with us here for the hour on the U2 America TV network and on Biz Talk Radio. Her name is Carolyn Peterson, and she has a company and a website called The Indomitable Spirit. It's such a great name. You can go there, theindomitablespirit.com, and find out a little more about her. But I'm interested in talking to you. Carolyn, welcome to America Trends.
Hi, thank you.
So you've come across some people in your life that really just inspired you to do this. What is your motivation for your company, and what exactly do you do? And let's talk about it and take a few minutes to inspire people with all these things that you've discovered and these people that have inspired you.
You know what, I have always been fascinated by what is it about people that there can be someone that goes through a circumstance and they are triumphant over that circumstance. They are victorious over it, and they can move on. They don't just take baby steps. They pretty much run the marathon. And someone else can go through the same situation and live the rest of their lives in misery. They're always the victim. They're not victorious. What is the difference? What is it in their... Is there something that these other people have that this person just can never get? So I've always been a little bit fascinated in that. And that's what got me started on this. And then I started to meet people along the way, like Allison Arngrim, who has been through some horrendous circumstances in her life, and started to meet similar people and tried to get a feel for what do they have in common.
Yeah, I saw that you have an affiliation with Allison. She's a frequent guest on here, and our audience may remember she played Nellie Olson on Little House on the Prairie. And she's got a book out that tells her story. It's called Confessions of a Prairie Bitch. Sometimes we say the B word, but I'm just telling you so you can find it on Amazon. And she really gets genuine and authentic about things that happened to her in her family. Things a little girl should never have to go through, but she is a force too. When you think of indomitable spirit, you might think of someone like her. But your story as well, Carolyn. I just want to tell a little bit about you and brag for a moment. You were raised in New York, then went to college on a vocal music scholarship in California. And then you had some big things happen. You were in the entertainment business in the late 80s. Started two businesses after being involved in a head-on collision, which I imagine set you back quite a bit. And then also you recovered after, another huge battle with breast cancer just in 2015. And so I bet just from you alone we could learn a lot about having an indomitable spirit.
Yeah, that car accident literally turned my life around.
Wow.
I didn't realize at the time that it was turning it around for the better, but at the time it turned me upside down. And while I was recovering and while I was on disability, I lost my job of 15 years. So after disability ended, then I found myself on unemployment and almost 60 years old and going, now what the heck am I supposed to do? And along the way, I started to meet these people like Allison, like Erin Runyon, who I can talk about for a second, and a few others that, like I said, again, they rise above their circumstances. And so I thought, I'm going to start this little business and see what I can do to put some speakers together and maybe motivate some other people. And right in the middle of that, I get a call from the doctor to come in because my mammogram showed that I had breast cancer. And my reaction to that was, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to start a business, so let's just get it out and get it over with. And something that people were always asking me is, how do you keep going, and how come you're always smiling, and how come, well, I don't know, my answer was always, well, I don't have a choice. I have a son to raise, I have money to make, I have a life to live. And then I realized that was my choice, and that everybody has a choice to choose to be happy and victorious over their circumstances, or they can choose to be miserable and live with a cloud over their head. I mean, that's their choice.
Carolyn, what you say rings so true, because you talked about a couple things. First of all, the victims that say, this is happening to me, I can't, and the people who overcome, and you just have to. And then also the fact that when you, in 2015, when you were told about this cancer diagnosis, you don't have time. No one plans for this. And these things can happen to us, these huge life tragedies. The Bible tells us we're not promised tomorrow. And so I love that you are motivating people to celebrate what we can do today and how to overcome when we do have these intense struggles. However did you do it, though?
Everybody asks me that, and I just think, I'm not sure how I did it. I know that I have always believed that you can rise above anything. I know that I have always, okay, for me, my personal journey is what brings me peace is music. So I always turn to music. I turn to my friends. I have my own way to get through. But gosh, I guess I just always figure that life is a choice, that you have no choice over what happens to you, but you have 100% choice of how you're going to react to it and how you're going to move on. Mm-hmm. So how did I get through it? Good sense of humor, good friends, this indomitability of spirit, this resilience. And I do believe that every single person has it. And I think it's kind of like Dorothy with her ruby slippers. She's going along and she's trying to figure out how to get home, and she has no clue how to do it. And she's had the power with her all along. She just had to figure it out.
Well, and I think the fact that you're helping others probably goes a long way in healing yourself. And I know you say that the first steps in the process of healing, some of them are acknowledging and accepting your situation without guilt and without judgment. And that can sound easy, but I bet there are many times when you blame yourself for, you know, if you're in a bad situation emotionally or relationships, you can blame yourself for getting there. If you're in a bad situation physically, you might blame yourself for, oh, I don't know, smoking or what you ate or what you breathed and things like this. Sometimes it's hard to not blame ourselves, but we really have to give ourselves a break, don't we?
Oh my gosh, self-judgment is the hardest to get over. And it absolutely is the first step. You absolutely have to acknowledge where you are and accept where you are without judgment. Such as, I lost my job. That's a fact. Okay, I lost my job. Not I lost my job because I was stupid, that, you know, I could have done a better job, I messed up all the time. No. The reality is I lost my job. You must accept it, and you must leave the judgment out of it, and the guilt and the anger. And once you learn to do that, I mean, we have one of our speakers is Erin Runyon, and her daughter Samantha was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. The girl was 5 years old. The mother, and the only way for that mother to get past that was to accept her situation and move on from it without the anger, and that is the hardest thing to do.
That must be, because that was, I mean, having a child at 5 years old. Carolyn Peterson, thank you for your story, and people can hire you to come talk to them, come to their event at theindomitablespirit.com. Carolyn, keep us posted on all you're doing, and thank you so much.